Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of When God Speaks. Enrique and Madelaine coming to you today on a very special day, I may note. Today is Madelaine's birthday, so happy birthday, Madelaine. I'm so
Thank you very
glad that
much.
you could join us and be with us on your special day. Hey, folks, it goes to show you how important this conversation is for her to take time on her birthday. And what a gift to us, right? So now, instead of us giving you a gift, you're giving us a gift. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you,
we're
Enrique.
going to be talking about yes, letting your yes be yes and your no be no. But we're going to kind of give it a little twist in terms of what is normally expected out of that quote, all right, that comes from the Bible. But um, first, share a little bit about you, Madeline. What's going on?
You know, Enrique, it's a topic that's very dear to me because I believe if all of us can be able to tune into our inner yes before we say yes to somebody else or yes to a situation or yes to an opportunity, we will make better decisions because it's guided.
Right.
And I know for a fact my life, in the times I've always been very connected and very intuitive, doesn't mean I always follow it. So when I was younger and I had more ego and less wisdom, I would get still the messages, but I wouldn't follow it because I thought, let me just test this, or it doesn't make sense to me, or it looks so attractive, whatever was offered to me. And when I didn't follow that inner voice, that inner no, or the inner yes, those were the times that I made the biggest mistakes. And those were the times that caused me the most drama and pain. And okay, I learned lessons from it, but my life would have been much easier and it would have been a bit different if I learned to listen to my inner yes. And what I feel I want to share is when we have an opportunity, especially when we're desperate, say we need money or we need a job or we want to go into a relationship and we really like this person, but you get this feeling that there's something there, but I will go and test it and try it, give it the benefit of the doubt. That's what we like to say. And then we go without consulting our inner yes or our inner no. And that is when you need to take a step back and you need to give yourself a chance to hear your inner voice. Because when you're in that situation where you really like something or you're really desperate, you can so easily hear the wrong yes and make the biggest mistake of your life. So I want to share something with you because that's one of the reasons that I lost my past life. I lost everything in my life and my business because I didn't listen to any of the messages that I got to say no, 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 no. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because if I did listen, things would have turned out differently. And I ended up in the lion's den. Um, and I read little messages, from here, there, and everywhere that gives me motivation. And it's so strange that while I was waiting to connect with you today, I have a bookie on my desk and I open it and it opened by the spaces between the words. But I just want to share this little bit with you is when we look for guidance, we often look for words that clarify, reassure, and help us to find our authentic path through the chaos. Yet there's also guidance in the spaces between the words and between each letter. And that is what's important, is to go back within you and ask for inner guidance before you say yes. It's becoming more and more important to do that because there's more chaos out there. There's more desperation out there. We cannot separate ourselves anymore from the chaos or the desperation because it's affecting all of us. And therefore, it's more important than ever before to tune into your inner yes and listen to that voice, whether it's the inner yes or the inner no. Just listen to it because that is designed to protect us and to guide us. And when we ignore that, we're literally going blindly on a road that might not be designed for us. So I don't
Oh,
know how you feel about it, what your experience is, but I wanted to share that with you.
no, what a wonderful share, Madelaine, and such a personal, testament to what it can do if you do it wrong. Right? If you do it wrong, you're gonna get some results. You're gonna get results regardless.
Mm,
And just to highlight for those, when we're talking about let your yes be yes and your no be no, the contextual framework is in the realms of promising, right? Because a lot of times we say, yes, I'll do that, and then we don't fulfill it. But what we're trying to do is highlight the fact that that yes must be backed by something. And usually, the reason why you can't go on with your promises and fulfill those promises is because you did not back it with your spirit. Now, what we're trying to say is that there has to be an internal yes that says, you know what, in all of what I know, and all of what I feel, and all of what I hear God telling me, that I should actually say yes to this opportunity and not just go on what may look like the best thing. You got to search it out. You can't just hop on the first train that comes because it's moving. Some movement goes in the wrong direction. All right. So if you hop on the wrong train just to be able to just to say yes, and I believe that uh, there's a very rich and wealthy individual, that owns Virgin, right? And everybody knows who he is, right? And he is one that will tell you, and you can look it up yourself. He'll say, "Hey, if an opportunity comes, say yes," and that may be a good approach for business, and I still would caution that there may not be. I understand what he's saying. If you let every opportunity go by, you will never know what that opportunity was going to lead to. But if you're hopping on every train that comes by, where are you headed?
mm,
Because not all the train tracks go the same direction. So my philosophy behind the yes and the no that I give, if I give you a yes, it's because number one, I've asked God if I should be participating. Number two, once he clears that, I try to figure out how, with my current resources, I can actually say yes to, because you don't want to overcommit, right? And then after I'm clear on those two, then I'll tell you yes. And then I'll tell you how much of that yes you're going to get. Because you also have to keep in mind that these yeses come tied to something. And some people say, oh, well, I'll say no to everything. Well, that's not good either, right? Because if you say no to something that God has already approved, who are you saying no to? It ain't that person. Right? You're saying no to God. So you have to be careful on how you develop your yes and how you deliver your yes and what you're saying no to, because you need to do your homework when it comes to your promises. Now when you say yes and you say no, it should stand. If you say no haphazardly, then shame on you. But if you say no, well knowing your capabilities, your alignment with God, and everything that goes with that no, then you could be free from that and say, okay, I'm good. Um, the whole thing is, what are you tying yourself to and what are you unleashing yourself from? Because it makes a difference.
mm. It's also what I've found lately, and maybe it comes with wisdom over the years, is I now know who I am, what I stand for, and what I believe in, and what my values are. So, oh, pardon me, before I say yes, I ask myself, is it aligned with who I am, what I stand for, and my values? If it's not, it's a definite no.
That's powerful because at the end of the day, who you tie yourself to or what you tie yourself to will kind of like start branching into your DNA. And you got to be careful who you hook up with, because if not, it's going to be detrimental. At the same flip side of things, because I like to see on both sides of the coins. Don't just show me one coin, one side. On the flip side of that, if you say no to a person or an event or an activity that could potentially help you just because you want to say no, that's also detrimental, because all it's going to do is slow your growth and your progress as you progress in your life. So it's important to align whatever it is you're tying up with you. If it doesn't, how is that going to affect you, right? I'll give you a perfect example that just happened this week. And people, you can look at my post. This is exactly, where I'm referencing from. I was in contact with an individual, um, and I opened the door because I saw and I felt that they needed help. And far be it from me to withhold help that I can give. Now, if I can't give it, I will tell you no, because I'll be wasting your time, right? But if I can give it, I'll consider where it's coming from, and then I'll provide what I can. And I'll make sure that you understand that that's what I can do. So I approach the individual, and I'll tell you, um, I'm not over analyzing and I'm not making judgments, but the interaction was negative, right? And I understand when you're in a place of need and there's desperation, there could be a lot of negativity because, Lord, there's 7 billion people on this earth. No, I can't get 5 people to help me. If you think about it, it makes sense. Man, you got 7 billion people on this earth, at least 5 people can help you. But when no one shows up, or it seems like no one is showing up, you can get in a very negative frame of mind. And I fully understand that. No judgment from my part, right? I understand the person where they are. So I have tried to guide them. I have tried my best in my capability to assist, because nothing that I do is because I have it. Everything I have, it's been given to me. And so I give it from that standpoint. Here, it wasn't mine from the beginning. I'm only a benefactor. So I will give you what I have. And so I did. I gave the visibility, the platform. And if you go on LinkedIn, you'll see it. I said, what good is it to have 14,000 connections and not ask for help or get help, right? And it wasn't for me. And no praise to me. These are only tools that I have, none that I have developed from me from scratch. This is God has allowed me to have these many connections. I just did a plea for someone else, um, and let that be there. Uh, but uh, if that person continues and continues in negativity and does not start to gravitate to what is happening versus what's not happening, they will miss the entire blessing. And I don't particularly need any praise whatsoever, because, like I said, I only give what I've been given. I can't give anymore, right? But it's you have to remember that when the things that you're looking for are aligning, and you know that they are God directed, and they're coming from the God standpoint, you need to let go of those other yeses that you tied yourself to, and get on board with the true yes, and follow that road till it ends, or it forks, or whatever. But I'm in bringing this story up, right? Um, it's public, like I said, you could go see it. When it's time to let go of other yeses for a true yes, you gotta hold on to that and forget about the rest. A lot of the issues that we have is because we say yes so much that now we're spread out thin. And then now, who do I cut? Right? But if you're going to cut anything, cut the negative, cut the things that are binding you, cut the things that are holding you back, cut the things that are telling you no, cut the things that are saying you're not going to be anything, you're not going to amount to anything, you're not going to go anywhere. Cut that, and you'll see how far you go. But I just wanted to bring that up because it also does have to do with yes and no, and what we allow in our lives to hold us back. And we don't even realize that we're so deep in it that we can't get out, but the hand is there. So, and God will always provide a way for you to overcome and get out. But yeah, I just wanted to share that.
That's a wonderful share, and thank you for that. And I also, in my program, I look at it and I feel we are victims of conditional thinking. But it's time for us to wake up to it. And it's time for us to change and transform. We have a choice. Do we want to exit that conditional thinking and take a new path? And I do believe that this is where we're at this time in the world. There's so much pain and suffering going on at the moment, so much doubt and fear. And now is the time to analyze your feelings, your mindset, your thinking, and say, what is working for me? What is not working for me? And maybe if it means cut those old yeses so that you can align yourself with people that will take you to a new yes, do it. Then it's time for a new season to start. But we need to analyze, we need to examine our hearts and our minds, and just have a general look at where you are at the moment, and what are you saying yes to at the moment, and what are you saying no to at the moment, and be more conscious and more thoughtful before you make a decision. Take a step back and just ask yourself certain questions about your values. Where is this going to take you? Is it what you want? Or are you just grabbing something that's coming along, but you're not sure? If you're not sure, I always had a rule, when in doubt, don't do it. Wait.
And and let me tell you, right? So I won't leave that story on a negative note. Within 2 days, and that this is the power of tying yourself to the right yeses. Not that I am anything, but the yes that God provided. Within 2 days, that person wrote me and said, someone offered me a job, and someone offered me with the help that you asked. That that's what happens when you align yourself with the true yes inside, and then you start to speak the yes. So glory be to God for actually uh, using that event to position that person to the yeses in their life. Right? They needed a job. They needed help in that situation, and things are moving in the right direction. Now, the real goal is stay on that train, right? Stay on that one. Don't hop to the other ones that are gonna come, because bad habits are gonna come, bad thoughts are gonna come, obstacles are gonna come. People are gonna say, "Oh, now you got a job. Oh, now you got help in that. Where about me?" Right? And it's just gonna happen. Stay on the train. Stay on that thought pattern. Stay on the focus of the positive over the negative, and you'll go a long way. So I'm happy for that person, and I praise God for so quickly, right? So quickly turning that situation around, and all with help of people. Folks, we cannot do it alone.
Mm.
Number one thing, had I been too shy, and Madelaine, you know, I'm not that shy, but had I been too shy, I would have messed up and not took the yes God gave me and executed that for that on behalf of that person, you know. And that's when God does great things. You have to be sensitive to what He's telling you to say yes to, and just act. After, think about it, and act on behalf of what He's telling you to do, in order
Mm.
for things to go the way they should. Had I failed to do my part, there's no telling, right? There's no telling. But because of the obedience, because of listening, because of being tuned to that heart, that voice in your heart telling you this is what you should do, right? And you have a lot of those examples, Madeleine, right? This last month have been a
Yeah.
lot of that for you, and you've said yes to those words coming, and look at now, right? I'm just so happy for where you are right now.
Yeah, me too. And also another, this is another talk, but I just want to mention it. Enrique, it's also you listen to your intuition when you realize that person needed help because you were put there for a reason on the path. So
Yeah.
sometimes people do, they are sent to us for a reason.
Hmm.
And we're prepared to open ourselves up and make ourselves a bit more vulnerable, and the right person arrives, a solution will come with that. And that is the beauty of the story, is we all just we are part of the story, but we are chosen to be on this path. And that is so beautiful when a story like that works out with such a positive ending.
Yeah, and it all boils down now to the individual, right? Are they
Yeah.
gonna continue
Yes.
to follow God's lead? Are they going to
Yeah.
continue down the road of positivity? Are they going to
Yeah.
continue to press forward and not focus on what has not happened, but what has happened, and take that as steps towards their future, right? We build on daily steps. We build on daily decisions. We deal on, we move forward on daily steps of positive decisions. And so, I am hopeful that road for that individual will be a bright one. They will have to make their own choices of yeses and nos, uh, but you can't control that. And in that instance, or those circumstances, I'll be holding them up in prayer, that they will not succumb to obstacles or oppositions, because they come, especially when you're doing good, right? Others, it's funny. I was having this conversation prior, in these last couple of days, and the gentleman said, um, people are okay with you doing good. They just don't want you to do better. And when he said that, it reminded me of the crabs in the bucket, right? Um, you climbing and you're almost out the bucket, and your leg get hooked and you get pulled back down. We're happy that you can climb, but hey, come back down here. Right? So it's a big difference from being happy for someone, uh, and their growth. It's another one to celebrate them, keep going and being better, right? So now I've switched my comment of "I wish you well" to "I wish you better," because there is a difference, folks. you know, there is a big difference. So I believe that this week, this is what we wanted to bring to you. Let your yes be yes. Let your no be no. Not only in what you speak, but go a little deeper and make sure that that yes resides in your spirit, that it resides in your heart, that it says, this is the yes you should be actually saying yes to. Now let your mouth speak and not going backwards, right? Letting your mouth speak. And then you're like, oh my goodness, what did I just do? Because some of those yeses are legal. So, you got to be careful. Madelaine, birthday lady, I am going to let you finish us out.
Well, thank you for such a wonderful story, Enrique. And I'm so glad that it panned out positively. I just want to say when you get this calm, serene yes, then you know that's the yes you need to take. When you get that nervous yes, then you take a step back and you think about it. That's my experience, and that I would like to share because people ask, but how do you know? So all I can say is if it's this calm, deep sense of yes coming through you, no doubt at all, take it, do it. Don't question it. You will be guided on the right path and you will be protected. But if it's a very nervous yes and you're not sure, if there's 1 ounce of doubt, take a step back. Then it's
Very
not
powerful. Very powerful. There is peace in the right yes. So
yes.
thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you next week on When God Speaks. Be blessed.
Bye bye.